The last episode left us with a dramatic cliffhanger. Claire simply stumbled out of the jungle. We learn in season 2 that Danielle carried her far from the medical station and left her off close to the caves.
I carried you on my back to your camp.
We learn this from Danielle herself, that she left her close enough to their camp so they would find her. Anyway, I guess Claire managed to wander off further away from the caves than anticipated, since Boone later mentioned that they were out pretty deep. Anyway, Locke and Boone bring Claire back to the caves. She has lost her memory and stay up with Charlie. The next morning, Jack, Saeed, Locke and Charlie discuss how she could have escaped. Charlie goes back to the caves. He meets Jin. He's been fishing. On their path back to the caves, they come to that knife training site we saw in the previous episode, the one filmed at the Judd Trail. Here you can see the knot from Walt's training.
See this knot, Walt? I want you to aim for it. Right here.
While Charlie and Jin walk to the caves, Ethan Rom appears. In season 2, we'll see Ethan and the rest of his group looking for Claire in the middle of the night. Now he's angry and knocks Jin unconscious, telling Charlie that he wants Claire back, threatening to kill one survivor every day until he gets his wish. Ethan lets him go and leaves. The next scene jumps a little bit in time, so we have to fill in the blanks with off-screen travels. But I think we can deduce that Charlie woke up Jin, or at least helped him to the caves where he would be with Sun. Charlie wouldn't just leave him there. Then Charlie is at the beach again. He tells Locke and Jack about what happened.
What if Ethan isn't alone? What if he delivered his threat so that we would gather like sheep to the slaughter in a confined space where they can roll in and take us all in one fell swoop?
Sound familiar to a plan in the final season? Jack and Locke tell people about what happened. Claire is the only one that isn't informed. This day is pretty much a day of preparations for Ethan's arrival, building booby traps and securing the areas. Boone takes a shift. Unfortunately, he falls asleep at the job at the beach.
Tree line, something tripped the alarm.
Here we have a very dramatic situation. Ethan attacks, but not from the jungle. He comes from the water. So how did that happen? Any boat would be noticeable. Even the small one that was used to kidnap Walt would be heard from the beach. I think that after Ethan knocked out Jin, he went across the island and to the submarine dock, which we'll see in the 3rd season. From here, he'll use the submarine, the one they call the Galaga, to travel to the south side of the island. The submarine wouldn't be noticeable, not even at night. With the periscope, they would have a clear sight of the beach. Maybe even see a little bit of the raft construction too, although I don't think it even looks like a raft at this point in time. He gets out, swims to the shore and kills Scott, then swims back. He, and possibly the one commandeering the submarine, take it back to the submarine dock. The next morning, they prepare a funeral for Scott. He's going to be the first person to be buried at the grass on the south side of the beach.
Scott Jackson worked for an internet company in Santa Cruz. He won a sales prize. 2-week Australian vacation, all expenses paid.
This will be filled with graves at the end of the show. Claire learns about what happened from Shannon and yells at Charlie. Jack shows Locke the guns. The Halliburton case is hidden underneath a big rock near the entrance of the caves. Jack hands out a gun to Locke and Saeed. They go to the beach and give the 4th one to Sawyer. Sawyer hands Kate the gun that belonged to the marshal. That night, they go back to that knife training spot, the same place where Jin was attacked. They use Claire to lure Ethan into an ambush. He comes from the jungle this time. Before they can interrogate him, Charlie shoots him 6 times with Jack's drop gun. And the episode ends.
Good night, Charlie.
Good night, Claire.
Stay tuned for the next episode, a Sawyer-centric.